You know, as I've said many, many times, I genuinely do not believe the Trump campaign is actually trying to legitimately win. I do believe in my mind that they're planning something either with the Supreme Court or the House of Representatives to steal the election. I don't believe they're trying to win. After lambasting and slandering Mexicans, both legal and illegal migrants from Mexico in this country, completely just besmirching and disrespecting legal Haitian migrants in Ohio, and now they have now set their sights on the actual citizens of the United States. They have now decided to attack Puerto Ricans. I don't understand why they're attacking Puerto Ricans. I don't know what kind of beef they have with Puerto Rico. We're gonna go in depth about Donald Trump's weird relationship with Puerto Rico, his inability to be a leader, his lack of a desire to actually take care of American citizens, all of whom the people of Puerto Rico are. But we're gonna get into that. But the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe was at the Trump rally, which was an insane rally, a deranged rally, by the way. We're going to go into all the stuff that they said. He spoke about how there was a floating island of garbage in the Caribbean, in the ocean, called Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rico, however you want to say it. He insults the island of Puerto Rico. Never mind the fact that all of them, by the way, are American citizens. Now, the ones in Puerto Rico proper, they can't vote. They can't vote. The ones on the actual island of Puerto Rico, they can't vote. But there are a lot of Puerto Ricans in the mainland of the United States, and they can vote. They live in Florida, which Trump needs to win. They live in Pennsylvania, which Trump needs to win. And they live in New York, which Trump more than likely is going to lose, but probably in a significant blowout after pissing off so many Puerto Ricans. Now, Tony made this joke after he spoke about all these Latinos coming into our country, as if Puerto Ricans aren't already a part of our country. Puerto Rico was a U.S. territory, just like the Virgin Islands is a U.S. territory. We're neighbors. And we're literally right across the street from y'all Puerto Ricans. Like, we're literally right next to you guys. He is now seen fit to make fun of American citizens, many of whom can vote and will vote. Let's watch the clip, though.
You know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Now, again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody. This isn't exactly a perfect comedy setup. There's some...
You know what's funny is the fact that Tony Hinchcliffe is the last person you should be bringing to a political rally. This man is a damn fool. I watch Kill Tony all the time. All of them are fool. You don't bring people like this to these kinds of events and expect serious activity. They bring Tony here. He obviously makes a fool of himself and the entire... This isn't even the worst of what they've said. This was really bad. They even got Bad Bunny to come out and, like, endorse Kamala. That's how bad it was. And I'm pretty sure Bad Bunny wants Puerto Rico to be independent of the United States. They got even Bad Bunny to make a statement. That's how bad it's gotten. Tony Hinchcliffe insults Puerto Rico in crunch time. We literally have days before... We're literally days away from Election Day. And in crunch time, Tony steps on stage and basically sabotages the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign then puts out a statement saying the statements of these comedians and other people does not reflect the campaign. Oh, it most certainly does. I want to remind you guys, this is the kind of energy that MAGA brings. These people are so unbelievably ignorant. They don't even know Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. These people are so unbelievably ignorant. They don't even realize that many, many, many Puerto Ricans live in the United States and can affect elections. These people don't view Puerto Ricans as Americans because these people, in their mind, if you're not white and English speaking, you are not an American. It's important for people to understand this. It's important for people like Myron to understand this. It's very important to understand that in these people's minds, if you are white and English speaking, you are more American than everyone else. You are automatically the standard of what an American is supposed to be like, look like, etc., etc. Now, the funny thing about this is the fact that Donald Trump himself has an iffy relationship with Puerto Rico. We're going to get into that right now. Donald Trump actually asked if he could sell Puerto Rico in the wake of Hurricane Maria hitting the island. In the wake of a natural disaster, instead of your leader sitting there and saying, man, how can I help these people who pay taxes, who disproportionately serve in our country's military? How can I give back to these people? Oh, no. Instead, how do we all just round these people up and just sell them? Then just sell the island, just sell them. Sell them, get rid of it. Just get rid of Puerto Rico. That's Trump. That's Trump's leadership. We're going to read the article. New York Times, Trump considered selling Puerto Rico following Hurricane Maria, former acting Homeland Security chief says. President Donald Trump considered the idea of selling Puerto Rico in 2017 after the island was devastated by Hurricane Maria. The former acting Homeland Security Secretary told the New York Times in an interview published Friday. The former acting Homeland Security Secretary. Notice how the people who say this stuff about Trump are all reliable sources who have worked in his administration. The president's initial ideas were more of as a businessman, you know? Elaine Duke, who was serving as a DHS acting secretary when the hurricane hit the island in September 2017, told the Times. See, this is the key reason why Donald Trump is not a leader. Trump supporters said this all the time back when I was a kid, like 2016. I was like 15 back then. They all said, you know, Donald Trump, he's a businessman. He's going to run the country like a business. You know, back then when I was 15, that made sense. I was impressionable back then. I thought, you know what? Run the country like a business. If anyone's going to know how to run a big, you know, operation, it's going to be a businessman. Donald Trump being a businessman is the reason why he can't run the country. That is the biggest issue with him. This dude is such in this mindset of you're fired, you're hired. I get what I want regardless of the rules. What I say goes. He is in this mindset of you do what I tell you to do or you are fired. Donald Trump does not like the barrier set by the balance of power in our government. Donald Trump does not like being held up by Congress. Donald Trump does not like the Supreme Court unless they do his bidding and give him immunity for treachery and treason and insurrection. Donald Trump wants to be an autocrat. That's what you are when you run a business. You are effectively an autocrat when you run a business. You have full unfettered dominion over everything within the company. Donald Trump being a leader is impossible. He doesn't have a leadership bone in his body. It's not in his blood to be a leader. This is a guy who all he knows how to do is kick down sandcastles, knock over Legos. All he knows how to do is just me, 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 me. He's not a leader. The president's initial ideas were more of a businessman. You're not a businessman, you're the president, which means people's lives are in your hands. American citizens' lives are in your hands. The lives of people who pay taxes, the lives of people who serve in our military are in your hands, and it's really, really important for you to take those people's lives seriously. In response to a hurricane hitting the island, the dude asks if we can sell the island. He asks, can we outsource the electricity as if Puerto Ricans don't pay taxes? Can we sell the island? He asks if we can sell the island, y'all. He asked if we could sell the island, you know, or divest that asset, Trump reportedly said, according to Duke in the newspaper interview. She said the idea of selling Puerto Rico was never seriously considered or discussed after Mr. Trump raised it. Of course it wasn't, because it was a stupid idea that nobody would ever embrace at that time. But now that Trump has effectively and successfully cleaned out his entire cabinet, his entire entourage, his inner circle of anybody with more than 2 functioning charged brain cells, there are plenty of people around Trump who would say, yeah, sell Puerto Rico, yeah. Because this movement is not about functionality. It's not about logistics. It's not about data. It's not about evidence. It's not about anything that goes together with making a functioning operation. This movement is about hatred and rage toward anything that you think is not like you. That's what this movement is about. And Donald Trump, if he asks the same question, if he gets into office again, you'll hear a lot of resounding yeses. Yeah, we should sell the island. Sell the island to whom? Who are we selling Puerto Rico to? Seriously. Who are you going to sell? It's just a stupid idea. Puerto Rico is an incredibly, number one, beautiful island, amazing culture, amazing people. They literally have American businesses and establishments down there. I don't know if y'all have been there, but I've been there. They got Arby's, Wendy, bro. Puerto Rico is literally, what would you accomplish selling a place like Puerto Rico? What? But these are the kinds of people we're dealing with. Trump has had a fraught history with the U.S. territory since Puerto Rico was devastated by Hurricane Maria. Nearly 3,000 people died as a result of the storm and after effects, including widespread power outages. Trump has previously taken aim at Puerto Rican officials for their management of the billions in relief funds his administration has appropriated for storm recovery, accusing the island's leaders of spending some of that money for reasons other than hurricane cleanup. In November 2018, White House officials told congressional leaders and appropriators that the president did not want any additional relief funding sent to the island. So Donald Trump obviously is a guy who's just incapable of being an effective leader. This is an individual who probably just doesn't want to send money to a place that isn't full of white Anglo-Saxon Americans. Anything that, like, if you are not in the in-group, the thought of taking care of you pisses these people off. They don't even want to take care of each other, by the way. They don't. They absolutely do not. These are people who cringe at universal health care. These are people who don't want kids to have free lunch. These are people who don't even want to take care of one another. God forbid ever take care of you, someone who may not be white, someone who may not be Christian, etc., etc. Puerto Ricans are Christian. A lot of them are white. But in the eyes of MAGA, Puerto Rico is basically like, Puerto Rico, as long as it's non-white, as long as it's mostly non-white, non-English speaking, they don't want anything to do with Puerto Rico. And it's funny that Donald Trump talks about misappropriation of funds when he got convicted for doing the very same thing. It's funny he talks about, Puerto Rican officials doing this, that, and the third with relief funds. This is one of the most corrupt leaders in American history, if not the most. This is the guy who literally tried to overturn an election illegally. And he thinks he has the right to withhold billions of dollars from American citizens who need that support because some of them, a lot of them, aren't white enough. This is what we're dealing with, folks. And a lot of Puerto Ricans might be voting for Donald Trump. And if you are a Puerto Rican who's thinking about voting for Donald Trump, I would implore you to think about the comments he's made, the moves he's made, the kind of people he's brought onto his rallies to speak. I would implore y'all to give it a little bit of thought. Trump has consistently denied any fault for his administration in the aftermath of the storm. The president has instead sought to praise his handling of Hurricane Maria, calling it an incredible, unsung success. Honestly, I can't take anything he says about other people seriously anymore because at this point, almost every accusation as it pertains to Donald Trump is a confession. If he accuses someone else of misappropriating funds, you end up finding out later on he misappropriates funds. If he accuses someone else of corruption, you later find out he is the most corrupt of them all. When it comes to him, anything he says about someone else is insight into what's probably going on within his camp, and you will find that out within due time. Now, the people at Trump's rally go on to say unbelievably further unhinged, deranged things. Tucker Carlson goes on to basically, show a little bit more of his power level. He calls Kamala Harris a bunch of random racial groups. We know Kamala Harris is, half Jamaican, half Indian, so she's half black, half Indian. Tucker Carlson calls her a whole bunch of stuff. Apparently to him, her being biracial is too hard for him to understand, so he begins to call her Malaysian and Vietnamese and whatever the else. Let's watch.
It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal.
And today...
And notice how Tucker always talks. He always loads. Like, Tucker is a lot like Hassan Piker. Whenever there's like opposition to something Tucker says, he attaches crazy stuff to the opposition. Stuff that they've never said. We've never said that if you disagree with Kamala Harris or you don't like her, you're a criminal. No one's ever said that. No one has ever said that. It's like if you disagree with Hassan, you're like a right-winger, you're Steven Crowder. No one has ever in life ever said that if you disagree with Kamala Harris, you're a criminal. But this is how Tucker Carlson engages in discussion all the time. He always tells you what the opposition thinks. If you don't agree with them, you're a Nazi, you're a criminal, you're the devil. No one's saying this, but Tucker he plants these little seeds in your head to give you an idea of what the opposition thinks instead of you having to go actually hear what they think. He tells you, he informs you, Now, Tucker Carlson, this is incredibly ironic because Tucker's disrespectful racist commentary is part of the reason why people are so amped up to vote for Kamala Harris. When I hear someone of his age talk that way about someone who's biracial, in my mind, this kind of behavior from you is just, it further reinforces the idea that people like you shouldn't be in office. Donald Trump, if he is the avatar of your hatred, your racism, your disrespect, I don't want it. We don't want it. Bye. We don't want it. In my mind, if Donald Trump is supposed to be the manifestation of your beliefs about other groups of people, I don't want it. Notice how he says Malaysian, whatever that was, Vietnamese, Lamasian, whatever, Samoan, whatever. He then says low IQ right after. Isn't that weird that he names two non-white groups of people and follows it up with low IQ? And mind you, Donald Trump is the one who just said recently on Joe Rogan, he recently found out that trees absorb water. He recently found out that trees need water. They absorb water. This is the guy who's apparently the high IQ alternative to Kamala Harris's Samoan, Vietnamese, Cambodian, low IQ operation. The high IQ alternative is the guy who didn't know that trees absorb and need water. What Tucker Carlson is trying to say is you have the white option and you have the brown/black option. Please pick the white one, is basically what Tucker's trying to say. We get it, Tucker. Glad to know you're unleashing more of your power level for us to see. This is just ridiculous. This guy, Tucker, it goes further and further and further mask off. And he's such a slimy little rat. He just sits there and it's not even a dog whistle anymore. Everyone knows Kamala Harris is mixed race. She's never hidden that fact. She's never been I'm Irish, Japanese, Italian, also that lost tribe in the Amazon rain. She's never ever said that. But leave it to Tucker Carlson to create his own little version, his own little story, create his own fiction of what's taken place and present it as fact. We're trapped in hell, people. We are trapped in hell. This guy calls Trump basically calling Trump high IQ. I remind you, Trump did not know that trees needed water until he became president. How is this possible? How? Even if you forget, you should just know instinctively, as a being on Earth that breathes oxygen, it should just be in your DNA to know, that tree, something just tells me it needs water. Probably because, most of life on Earth needs water. You know what, bro? I'm not even ready. You know what, bro? Let's get to the next crazy. I'm done with this, bro. Let's get to the next crazy comments in this shit, bro.
She is some sick that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a. The whole party, a bunch of degenerates.
Can you imagine?
It's always funny when Trump supporters call other people degenerates. They literally support the degenerate in chief. Donald Trump's got multiple baby mamas, a warrant for his arrest, and he's got literal indictments. Bro, Trump is as ghetto as you could possibly get. There's no one more degenerate than Donald Trump. Literally no one more degenerate than him. This is a guy who literally, Donald Trump is one of the most brazenly degenerate individuals to ever curse this earth, to curse this country. It's crazy how these people claim to be followers of Christ, and then when given the most un-Christ-like candidate you could ever possibly have, they bend over as far as they can possibly bend in order to excuse this individual. I am sick and tired of people who don't follow the teachings of Christ trying to force it when it's convenient. It's not your body, it's not your choice, But I don't want to ever have to take care of that kid, though. Like, I don't want my tax dollars feeding that kid in school. But don't abort it when it's literally like a fetus in the earliest stages of pregnancy. Don't abort it. But I'll never put my tax dollars toward taking care of it. Never. Jesus literally spoke about what you do for the least among you, you do unto me. These conservatives couldn't care less about what Jesus said about giving to the poor, taking care of the downtrodden, taking care of the weak. They don't care. They don't care. They pick and choose which parts of the religion they want to follow, but they want you to follow all of it. You, the unbeliever, should obey completely to Christ. Meanwhile, they pick and choose which slice of the pizza that they want. And these people want to run the country and also tell you what's degenerate. Hillary Clinton is the degenerate in their eyes. Meanwhile, Donald Trump literally is one of the most brazenly degenerate individuals we've ever seen, unapologetic. His supporters refuse to ever condemn anything he does and anything he has done. I don't care about the degeneracy of political candidates. I care about what they do when they're in office as a leader. If you want to get religious Trump supporters, if you want to get to morality, we can do that, but you're not going to win. Why do y'all even waste time with this?
Imagine Kamala Harris performing a random, kind, generous act. She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country. We need to slaughter this other people.
Okay, that was wild. Hold on, give me one sec. So the first one talks about Kamala Harris. I guess he thinks he's a little boosie. He talks about Kamala Harris, etc., etc. Let me tell you something, bro. Like, this man sits there and says, can you imagine Kamala Harris doing a random kind act? Y'all can't even feed kids breakfast in school. Who in the fuck is you to talk about random kind acts? Y'all can't even be convinced to take care of your fellow countrymen. Shut the fuck up about taking care of your fellow man. You people refuse to help anyone who does not look like you, and even amongst those who look like you still can't even do it. Like, Trump supporters, please stop talking about kindness. There's nothing kind about your movement. It is the most negative shit I have seen. It is the most negative shit I have ever seen. And then the next one comes on talking about how these people, we need to slaughter these people, Kamala's pimp handlers. These people are unbelievably misogynistic. I don't know what white women who are voting for Trump think is about to happen, but it's not going to be good. White women, y'all are the final. After everyone else gets knocked down, y'all are the last one standing. I'm just telling y'all right now. The stuff that I've seen the far right say about white women on Twitter, etc., whatever MAGA has cooked up for y'all, it's not good. Once all the other undesirable groups or groups that need to submit and be dominated are taken care of by this MAGA movement, y'all are the last one standing. This movement is unbelievably misogynistic. And every single time something negative happens under a woman, white or otherwise, they scream DEI, DEI, DEI. Women, white women in particular, I'm calling on y'all to wake up and realize, man, these people do not have your best interest at heart. Pimp handlers. This is the same. I don't care about what Donald Trump does with adult film stars. I don't care. But Donald Trump is one of the most degenerate, like, I don't care about this stuff. I'm not really into judging people's personal lives. But as much insane activity that Donald Trump has engaged in, who in the fuck are y'all to ever use this kind of language to describe anybody? But it's the misogyny. Talking about Kamala's pimp handlers. These people are deranged. They are deranged. Let's also take something else into account. He talks about we need to slaughter these people. Notice how we do nothing to these people. They try to steal elections. These people want to abandon Puerto Rico. These people literally want, like, this is the most negative, vicious, malignant political force we've seen since the fucking Confederacy. That's how bad these people are. These people continuously strike against us. They talk about how Biden's not helping people in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Meanwhile, their own politicians vote against aid. Mike Johnson got on that punk-ass, lame-ass stage and gave a speech as if he wasn't the main one blocking the extra supplementary aid needed down there. These people continuously fire at us over and over again. These people continuously obstruct legislation over and over again and hurt this country. And then after everything they've done, they're supposed to be the ones who have the right to kill us? Uncle Sam, I'm calling on you to Uncle Sam, please. Cause like I'm about sick of these niggas, bro. Like I can't. They think they have the right to put us to death. The same people who have given up on the Constitution and instead follow this yellow blub in front on this screen. Donald Trump literally called for the termination of the Constitution. And you people think you reserve the right to put us to death? Notice how they want us to die, not because we're actually doing anything to them, but because Donald Trump keeps catching legal cases. That's all this is about. It's not about illegal immigration, because if it really was, they would have actually passed that bill. This is all about Donald Trump. Any of his woes are their woes. This is the man who sat there and said, "They're not after me, they're after you, but I'm the one standing in the way." Donald Trump has convinced all of these normal, average, everyday Americans to become his human shields. Donald Trump is not standing in the way of you. Donald Trump catches all these legal cases because he's a fucking criminal. But it's unbelievable how people who cry and bitch and moan about the rich and powerful will very quickly themselves turn into the human shields of the rich and the powerful. And then when us, Democrats, liberals, non-MAGA Republicans, shout out to y'all. I want unity over here, so we gonna bring in as many people as we can. When us constitutionally loyal Americans try to fight back against Trump, we deserve to be slaughtered. These people wanted us dead on January 6th because Trump convinced them that the election was stolen. He's gearing up to do the exact same thing again. And I'm willing to bet that Donald Trump is going to lose again. And when he does lose, they're going to call for all of his political opponents to die. Whatever they're planning, some people who are in Congress or maybe even the Supreme Court might end up going to prison when this is all said and done. And when they do for trying to steal an election and defraud the United States, these same people are going to call for all of us to die because we didn't vote for Trump and we want him to face legal consequences. Know and understand that our country is not infallible, it's not perfect, and at any moment, people who claim to love this country can be the very same ones completely willing, ready, and just revved up to destroy it. Called for us to be slaughtered. Called for us to be slaughtered. And I'm willing to bet that if you ask him why, 9 out of 10 reasons is going to be because of all of the legal cases Donald Trump is dealing with. Nothing to do with legislation, nothing to do with actual rule of law, everything to do with the fact that Donald Trump is not being given a pass to commit insurrection, a pass to hoard classified documents and share them, not with people helping him write a fucking, autobiography. Oh no. Sharing them with officials of state from other countries. Because we won't let him share classified documents with officials of state from other countries. We won't allow him to insurrect. We won't allow him to betray this country and break his oath because we won't allow him free reign. You deserve to be slaughtered. If you haven't voted yet, this should be your wake-up call. They hate you. They fucking hate you. I don't know what's going on in this country, but these people are bewitched. These people have been completely, like, they're under a spell. Donald Trump has cast the most insane spell I have ever seen. It is insane. If Donald Trump told them to jump off of a cliff, a significant amount of them would. I don't know what's going on, man, but this is insane. This is crazy. Please vote. If you haven't voted, please do. I can't. This is untenable, bro. This is really untenable. If you haven't voted, I please implore you to do so. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.